They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
Oh, if Jeremy Hill can hold on to a fucking football.
That doesn't make sense.
You're listening to the P&E Bengals Fan Podcast.
3, 2, 1.
Well, now we covered a lot of the offense, but obviously I think anybody who's followed this team knows that the defense is really what's been winning for us, which is weird because everybody knows the Bengals for their offensive prowess, but no one really gives us credit for the defense we have.
Yeah, and I was expecting, obviously we lost Zimmer the season before this last one, so we knew that it was going to be a little bit of an adjustment, but it was nice to see that they got better over the course of, 2 years with the same defensive coordinator.
Yeah, you have to say Gunther's done his job. You really can't say he hasn't. You know what I mean? Because, the defense played really well last year. They were pretty stout. They kept us in most of the games, and, you really can't argue against that. You really can't, And so Gunther's done a good job, but you should do a good job when you have Geno Atkins playing the way he plays, and now we just got to kind of rein in, Vontaze Burfict because he's kind of a double-edged sword at this point. He does so many things for you that we wouldn't even be in the playoffs without Burfict. But then he kind of, loses his cool at the end there, and
right.
You know what I mean, and that, that doesn't help. So
at that point, I don't think it mattered in that game. They put Ben Roethlisberger back in the game. After that fumble, it was a wrap.
Yeah, pretty much. But still, it's like, well, that's actually kind of funny you say that because that's exactly how I feel when everybody was talking about the Bengals at the end of last year. It's, Vontaze Burfict and Adam Jones screwed it up, for the Bengals. And I'm like, well, if Jeremy Hill can hold on to a fucking football, then there is no Vontaze Burfict play. There is no Adam Jones play. You know what I mean? That's all moot. That's a moot point. So I really find it funny that people blame Adam Jones and Vontaze Burfict, but you don't hear anybody say anything about Jeremy Hill.
Man.
It's like,
I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, right? I don't even want to think about that.
Just bringing it up right now just is bringing back those memories and just being like, oh, my God, I cannot believe you just fumbled the ball.
Dude, that's the thing is, I was so mad about him fumbling that football that I honestly really wasn't that mad at Burfict and Jones.
At that point, you just kind of expect it to roll downhill. We all know the Bengals, so it's like self-destruct mode.
Dude, it's like,
so.
I was still mad about Jeremy Hill 3 weeks fucking later. You know what I mean? And I hadn't even gotten to the point to even consider being mad at Burfict or Adam Jones. And you're talking about, 2 months after the goddamn game. Everybody's, Burfict this, Adam Jones that. Well, fuck that. You know what I mean? What about fucking Jeremy Hill? Jesus Christ, that guy. Someone should flog him in the street.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he comes back this next year, because even without that, all season, everybody was talking about how good his rookie campaign was and then how he was just so pretty much useless for this year. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes back next year. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance next year.
To me, that depends. And like any other run game, it all depends on the O-line.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't think anybody really. And the thing is, if you look up the stats, the Bengals were sixth in rushing or something. And I'm watching the NFL season, I'm I don't see how that happened.
Yeah.
Either that or just no one else is running the goddamn
Yeah,
ball.
if that's true, that's very surprising. Just, based off of how efficient they were running because, their offensive line wasn't really doing that much. They were good at not getting sacks and everything, but not creating running lanes.
Yeah, because I remember the 88 year that we went to the Super Bowl, and, man, they were opening up holes me and you could have ran through. And then they got, James Brooks, Ickey Woods, and they were just gashing people. It was almost 5-6 yards a carry, no problem. You almost expected it when Boomer turned to hand it off, and he gives it to Brooks or he gives it to Ickey. There was 5-6 yards on the table right there. The holes were humongous. And honestly, I haven't seen a Bengals team that ran like that ever since then.
I was about to say, and it's frustrating when you do see teams, people falling forward, running backs, like an Adrian Peterson. If he gets tackled, he's still falling forward, and you're getting 3 yards out of anything. And it's like, dude, are you kidding me? You guys are getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage constantly? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's really hard to compare anybody to Adrian Peterson.
Well, I was just using him as an example. Maybe that was a bad choice of running back.
Jeremy Hill's kind of a cross star right now, but and actually, since we're talking about if Jeremy Hill's going to rebound next year, I think a big key to that, but two things, is did that fumble really motivate him?
Right. And obviously he's going to say it did, but yeah, to be determined, right?
But does that fumble, to me, it comes down to two things. Number one, did that fumble really motivate him to find a way to get better? That's number one. And number two, what difference is it going to make? Because they're going to let Andre Smith walk. They're letting Andre Smith walk.
I wouldn't be surprised with that.
And they already are talking about that they're going to let Smith walk and let Agawai or whatever his name is.
I don't know how to say his last name.
He's going to play the right side. But we'll call him CEO. He'll be the company. Because if he's as good as they're saying he is, as big as the coaches are beefing him up, and they're saying he's a man's man, like there ain't nothing he can't do. And if that's the case, if he's really as good as they say he is, then you might see Jeremy Hill have a renaissance year.
That would be nice. It would be nice to see Jeremy Hill in there just kicking ass and taking names.
Well, it'd be nice to see that O-line open some holes. And it'd be nice to see that whoever that center we got, what is the center's name? I always forget his name because he's so trash.
Bodine or no?
It's Bodine, right?
Yeah, Russell Bodine.
Yeah, and that guy is like, man.
Yeah, they're saying he's just mediocre, right?
Yeah, he's mediocre. He's not complete trash, but we can do better. I was kind of hoping Alex Mack will leave Cleveland, and we can grab that guy.
I was just going to say, since we're talking about specific people, we can just talk about, since we're recapping, some hit and misses from this last year, because I have a good one for you that I haven't heard about, and he was supposed to be promising, Marcus Hunt.
Now we're talking. Yeah, I agree. He's a guy we drafted a couple of years ago. He's supposed to be a project, but they're hoping he turns into this, J.J. Watt beast type guy, and he's not getting it.
Yeah. He's been kind of MIA this entire season, actually. I think I've seen him in, a handful of plays or whatever. Special teams and whatnot.
Yeah, he gets some scrub time. Yeah, he'll get some scrub time, but he's not really, you would think now that we've had him for 2 or 3 seasons, that he's going to come from, and show something. I mean, I know he was a project when we got him, but how long does it take to teach a guy that,
right. Time's running out, yeah.
Yeah, like, you can't be a project forever.
Right.
At some point, you got to be a solution.
Right. Okay, what about, well, we'll do them as a duo, but obviously we talked about the running backs, but more specifically Gio, what do we think about him moving forward? I mean, just especially with Jeremy Hill having the year that he did, you think they try to, and we have a new offensive coordinator, you think they try to get him a little bit more involved again this season like he was 2 seasons ago?
No, I don't, and because the only reason why I don't, is he more of a pro at this point than Jeremy Hill? Yes. Would you rely on him to carry the ball at this current moment more than Jeremy Hill? Yes. Can he do 25 touches a game without getting broken in half? No. And so if Gio Bernard wants to have a solid, long career, he needs Jeremy Hill.
Yeah. I mean, I like the tandem. I like the duo. I think it works well for the Bengals.
Well, I do too. And any successful team in Bengals history has always had a duo. And the easiest one to point out would be, the James Brooks and Ickey Woods.
Right, Ickey.
They were monstrous together. So I don't really believe that you have to have one feature back. I've never believed in that because it's smart to keep both the guys fresh.
Well, and even in case one of them gets injured. Right.
Yeah, and then if one gets injured, you're covered.
More or less, unless you're playing in the playoffs with the Steelers and Gio gets knocked out of the game, and then you have to rely on Jeremy Hill to run the ball.
But what I'm saying is that they have the right idea with Gio and Jeremy Hill. You let Gio, he's shifty, he's fast, he can be in the passing game. You get the lead with a fast back like Gio, and then once you get the lead, then you pound them to death with Jeremy Hill. It's the right recipe. But either, I don't know. I mean, but Gio can take a lot of big hits. I think he's already shown that. And that's the difference between Gio Bernard and maybe, James Brooks, if you will. James Brooks was a tough son of a bitch. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. For a short little scat back kind of running back, James Brooks was about as tough as you can get him. I mean, he really was. But the one thing you see with Gio, if someone lays a good lick on him, they're carting him out the game. Well, I know one person would be good to talk about.
Let's hear it.
Denard.
Ooh.
I think he's a big X factor. Especially looking at us having to re-sign Adam Jones. And just the fact that they don't want Jones to walk. And they might possibly get Leon Hall on the cheap, because after Leon Hall had two, Achilles heel injuries, he's getting up there in age. Who's really going to give Leon Hall a big contract?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're looking at, I honestly think Leon Hall might come back on a 1 or 2 year deal, finish up his Bengals career and go. But if you're really looking at signing Adam Jones long term, or at least for a couple of seasons, then that means you're really not sure about Denard yet. And they really talked up Denard a lot. At this point, it should be Kilpatrick and Denard on the outside.
Right.
But they're talking about spending money on bringing Adam Jones back. So that makes you wonder if the franchise is kind of not sure about Denard. Maybe not about the talent level, but can he stay healthy? He seems to get nicked up a lot.
Yeah, I got nothing.
He said, I got nothing for you, man. And I think what you'll really see how they feel about Denard, I think you'll see it in the draft.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just going back and thinking about how much I'm actually seeing him on the field. Like you said, he's always injured, or, with all the other guys in front of him, even that's going to, create a little less playing time for him as well. But, yeah.
But you got to figure if Leon Hall's coming back next year, he's coming in as a backup. At best, if Leon Hall gets re-signed, they try him at safety to replace either Nelson or Iloka. Even though you have Sean Williams there to replace Iloka if Iloka gets out of here. And Sean Williams actually played really well. But I really would like to get Iloka back. If you're going to let one of the two go, I say you let Nelson go, because he's getting up there. He's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, he's 32 right now. Nelson's 32, and Iloka's 25.
Exactly. So you can't really justify giving Reggie Nelson a 4-year contract.
Even though he was a beast this last year.
But then he's 36 on the last year of his contract. And there's not, unless your name is Rod Woodson or Ronnie, I don't even know if Ronnie Lott played that long, to be honest with you. But unless your name is Rod Woodson or Charles Woodson, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to justify giving a guy that age good money.
Yeah.
And you got to figure Nelson just came off a year where he had 8 to 10 interceptions.
8.
That's probably going to be the height of his career, if you will. And so let somebody else overpay Reggie Nelson, if that's the case. So if Leon Hall comes back, he's going to come back just a backup position. Adam Jones comes back, which I think Jones will come back, because I don't think anybody understands him like we do. So then you're looking at Adam Jones and Kilpatrick on the outside, maybe Denard in the slot, but Denard's got to, I don't know, man, he's got to get rid of the paper-mache reputation.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he's going to progress anymore. Obviously, him and Kilpatrick were both first-round picks, so You like to see him.
And that's the truth. And actually, you can actually talk about Kilpatrick, too, because has he been decent? Yeah, I mean, he's all right. Like, you know what I mean? I can't say
he's
that.
all right, but he hasn't been the first-round talent that we hoped for sure.
Yeah, the straight-up lockdown Darrelle Revis type. Nah, he's not that. But he could develop into that. I mean, he's still a young kid. He's only played like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, he's still young.
But this year right here, you're gonna.
And he's getting better every year too. So
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This year right here is when you're gonna really find out about Drake Kilpatrick.